Hello and welcome to another episode of Wrestling is Her. I'm your host Raja, and I'm joined by my fighting spirit co-host John.
I am in the middle of fighting a spirit cold right now, so I may sound a little hoarse. I may sound pony during this.
Yes, this week has been a cacophony of medical issues in our house.
Yes, it's been something, and we have been all over the place.
We've been everywhere this week.
Oh my God.
Like last week and this week have both been crazy for totally different reasons.
Yes.
It's been wild, and we're just glad to be back in the swing of things as scheduled.
Absolutely. We got a lot of incredible wrestling that has happened.
We have, yeah. We're not even totally caught up yet.
Yeah, so
we're working through it.
super excited.
But one thing we couldn't miss was Namba grand fight this past weekend.
Oh my God.
For Stardom, and that is what we're mainly here to talk about today. But of course, over the course of the week, they also had their Cork and All show and a New Blood show before, like, leading into the pay-per-view.
Right.
So I just want to go over what happened at those really quick.
Yes.
To set up for Namba grand fight, which was a spectacular pay-per-view.
It was unreal.
Let me just spoil it right now.
Oh yeah.
It was crazy.
It was great, man.
It was long. There were so many matches. There were surprises. There was intrigue. Everything you want from a pay-per-view.
Had a little bit of everything.
But why don't we start on September 8th in Cork and Hall and just talk really quick about what went down while they were there. They started the night off with the 5-Star Grand Prix award ceremony, where President Tanahashi of New Japan Pro Wrestling came in to give the wrestlers their awards.
Yes, which was a lot of fun.
It was. He seemed very into the silliness of each girl. He's willing to play along with everybody. I love that.
And let me just say, I love these moments in Stardom when we get to see the girls in somewhere other than just, I know they're in the ring, but
wrestling.
Yeah, because we've been watching a lot of old All Japan women's.
Yes.
And you will know about that shortly enough, right? You will know about it. We're going way back.
We've been working on it. We're trying to decide where we want to start.
Yeah, we've been going way back. But we were watching some 1983 stuff. And oh my God, just the way they would show them traveling, and you really build the personalities.
Just having fun.
Doing 10K runs, and
they were just normal girls, and it really shows through.
Now, and I do know that Stardom World, or not Stardom World, but the Stardom YouTube has traditionally shown a lot of things, competitions.
But if you don't have those subtitles on there, it can be hard to know what you're watching sometimes, or get the same amount of personality.
Absolutely.
Because you can see the way they're saying things and the way they act, but you don't know exactly what they're saying.
Absolutely. But yeah, this was
a little more difficult.
This was fantastic, man.
Yeah, we've been enjoying our classic vintage Joshi over the past couple of weeks. So the 5-Star Grand Prix, as we've talked about over the past month, was incredible. And the awards that they gave out were the Special Achievement Award, which went to Hanan, the Fighting Spirit Award, which went to Azumi, and the Skill Award, which went to Starlight Kid.
Yes.
And then we had our Best Match Awards, which I actually pretty much agree with from top to bottom. Red Stars A, Best Match, Maiko versus Hazuki.
Absolutely.
Red Stars B, Best Match, Mayu Iwatani versus Momo Watanabe. But Blue Stars A, Best Match, Starlight Kid versus Sariano. And Blue Stars B, Best Match, Suzu Suzuki versus Tekla.
Yeah.
And after going back and looking at the blocks and who all was in them, I was like, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
I mean, we loved all those matches.
Yeah, there were some matches that probably went above that, but they were quarterfinal and final matches, not
right.
regular block action. So these were all fantastic matches. And then they gave the awards for the runner-up, Saya Kamatani, and the winner, Micah.
Yeah, which is still surprising.
It was. And to see Tana doing the taunting face with Saya Kamatani was hilarious. And Momo Watanabe's refusal to even hold her trophy just cracks me up.
I love the picture of the girls with with pouty face Momo over on the
she
side.
just let her trophy fall on the floor.
It's just amazing.
Mayu had to like bring her over. She was like, come on.
She almost does Saya Kamatani better than Saya Kamatani.
She does. And we know she didn't care about the tournament and she like gave up on it completely. She was like, whatever. I don't care anymore.
I think there's still a lot of story happening. You know,
there is, yeah.
I just feel, and I felt it for a while.
Yeah.
And as we'll get to, because it's my favorite thing at the first one of these shows.
Right.
I think that the best thing about the pay-per-view this past weekend is the fact of this story.
Oh, yeah. There's so much.
So much intrigue right now.
Yes, absolutely. So the show kicked off with Starlight Kid versus Rion in a rematch from Rion's debut, which really showed how far Rion has come. Like, her moves were so slick and everything. Like, she did fantastically.
Leaps and bounds.
Just amazing how much difference
Leaps and bounds. I love it when I don't think that somebody's going to be able to, you know, you're there at the roller coaster and you have to be at least this big to ride this ride.
Right.
And from a skill point, you have to be a certain height to ride the Stardom ride.
Of course.
Sometimes it's like, man, are they going to get it? Are they going to get? She's already better than most people in other feds.
Yeah, like there's those growing pains in the beginning where you're like, oh, it's going to take forever. But then somewhere along the line, it just clicks.
It's like even her body structure has changed. And we were talking about this.
It's gotten stronger.
It's like the physiology. You get stronger. You get wrestling strong. And there's different muscles you use. And it's just weird, man. It's bumping. I know whenever I would have a long layoff and go back in, that first initial bump is like, ew.
Yeah, it goes through your whole body.
Yeah. And
you're like, nope.
You get used to it, you know?
Your body adapts.
It's not a good thing, probably.
No, probably.
But
probably not the best thing to be doing to your body.
But she has really, you know, come a long way.
She has. And even though she lost this match to Starlight Kid, I think it really showed like how she's been learning and growing over the past couple months since her debut. I don't know. It's still up in the air. She said she has her eye on someone.
Yeah.
And there's a certain faction that has their eye on her, but I'm not sure that those two are the same.
I'm not sure either. It makes sense, that faction.
It would make sense. But is that where Rion wants to go?
Probably not.
Not so sure. In the next match, Aya Sakura and Sayaka Kurara took on Rina and Ruaka. And this was like, they've been building this story now with Rina and Aya Sakura for a little while because Aya Sakura has yet to have a Future of Stardom title shot. And this was good fun. It was amazing in the fact that Aya Sakura was able to roll Rina up for the win.
Yes.
To cement herself a Future of Stardom title shot.
Fantastic to see that. And you talk about somebody that's an ace to be.
Oh, yeah.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Rina is
going to be the top tier of the company, heel or otherwise.
Yeah, and we see that whenever they're all together and, you know, she's talking after a match when people are going back and forth, exchanging the mics.
Yeah.
You know, Rina just has this je ne sais quoi about it. She
does.
Has it. Whatever it is.
Yeah, she's got a lot of personality. She's confident in herself. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
It comes across very clear, and it's fun to watch.
It's like almost multiplications every time she wrestles.
Yeah, she's so funny.
Of the time before.
Yeah, absolutely. And the funniest thing about this match was that Aya was able to get the win because Ruaka brought in the black box.
Yeah.
And accidentally hit Rina over the head with it. And then Sayaka speared Ruaka to get her out of the way, and Aya was able to get that roll up.
It was a really flawlessly timed.
It was a brilliant finish.
I
really
loved it. It really was.
After that, in a 3-way, we saw Rana Yagami versus Saya Ida versus Mina Shirakawa. And I mean, the 3-ways are always fun, you know. There was like some sneakiness from Mina in this match where Saya and Rana were wrestling and Mina like snuck in and like kicked Rana in the back like out of nowhere. It was really fun. It was like your typical low card multi-man, you know.
Oh yeah.
Everyone on top of everyone. But Mina was able to get the win, and afterwards she was like, Japan wants Mina, America wants Mina, England wants Mina, everyone wants Mina.
But the thing is, you know, that started as her just making her own brand.
Yeah, the We Want Mina thing.
This was a conversation we had in our office when we were watching wrestling. Mm-hmm. You know, that really a lot of respect has to go to Mina Shirakawa.
Yeah.
Because she was lost. She was on an island by herself there for a while.
Absolutely.
When everything broke down, it just seemed like there was something lost in the shuffle with her.
Yeah.
Directionless. And when she did go to America, she made sure. She was like, everybody's saying #we want Mina. And at first it was almost kind of cringe a little.
Right.
Because you're like, nobody's.
I don't think anyone's saying that.
We're in the crowd. We're literally in the crowd. I don't think anybody said that.
She turned it into something.
But she turned it into something. And she has also trained her ass off, obviously.
Yes.
Because she looks different. Not that she looked bad.
No,
don't get me wrong.
No, she looks more mature and settled into herself almost.
She's got that confidence that you feel around someone.
Yeah.
And she's to the point now that people do want Mina.
Yes, everyone in America definitely wants her back.
Even hear the chatter. This past week we were in Dayton, Ohio and Lexington, Kentucky for AEW. And in both those crowds, I heard little pops whenever the name came up.
Yeah, like when Mariah was in the ring and she said that she didn't want to do her celebration because she was missing something. And then she said she wants Mina, and like everyone was like, yeah, Mina, we want Mina.
Yeah, so I was really excited to hear that.
I don't think Mina's going to be nice to Mariah, though.
I don't think so either. I don't think she's going to approve.
Of what she's been doing?
No.
Probably not. After that, there was a 6-man tag match. Koguma, and Mayu Iwatani versus Miyu Amasaki, Suzu Suzuki, and Azumi.
Yes.
And this had a cute little opening where Koguma like coerced Miyu Amasaki to stay in the ring.
Yeah.
And they did the bear dance, and Miyu seemed like she was going to go along with it, But then when it got to the end, she shoved Koguma down.
Yes.
And everyone started like booing at her, and she's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, let's do it.
And she was like really apologetic about that. You can't just shove Koguma down in the middle of the bear dance.
No, but I approve.
Yeah, me too. And this was funny for me because everything was like really nice and innocent, and like Koguma doing her stuff, and then Momo comes in, she does a few body slams, and then she tags Mayu in, and Mayu just comes in and kicks the ever-loving crap out of Miyu Amasaki.
Absolutely.
It was like fun and games. Nope.
Yeah.
Let me just alleviate your soul from your body real quick.
It was almost like she owed her money or something. Sometimes Mayu Iwatani is just a murderer.
She is.
She has fun at times, and at times it's almost like the pedestrian Mayu match, which is still better than most people's matches.
Right.
But then you have these things.
Yeah, and you get to see like Mayu Iwatani in the wild. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
We got some good Azumi versus Mayu moments in this match. There was also some really good like Momo, Kogo, and Suzu moments, surprisingly. Momo Kogo getting out of that Neo Genesis drop kick by like just getting up and drop kicking Suzu out of the way. She's like, nope, I don't think so.
Yeah, I love it.
But Suzu Suzuki was able to win this match for her team with the tequila shot.
Yeah.
So good fun.
One of the times that the tequila shot worked recently.
Yeah, recently. It's not been doing so hot.
Yeah.
Following that, we saw Konami, Saya Kamatani, Momo Watanabe, and Natsuka Tora take on Lady C, Hina, Saki Kashima, and Shiri. So this match just started right off the bat with Shiri and Konami face to face in the middle of the ring, and they were like doing the stare down, and then Hate was like, nope, and they like pulled everyone out of the ring at the same time.
Right.
And did their hate stuff.
The hate stuff.
They went after Hina like a whole lot in this match, but Lady C really got like the majority of the ring time here. It didn't help anything really because Hate was still able to overcome with Konami getting the win, but
they were Lady C with new look Lady C again, got to put it over every time.
She did really like Lady C's been killing it lately.
She has.
I've loved seeing her wrestle lately.
Yeah, she's done a good job. This match was, it was what it was.
It's just a little precursor to the pay-per-view match later in the week. Next was the number one contender for the Wonder of Stardom title match, where Tekla took on Hanan and Hazuki. So one of these three was going to get a Wonder of Stardom title match at the pay-per-view. Obviously, we already know who wins this match.
Yes.
But this was cool because everyone like started by feeling each other out. It was like very careful, very measured. And then Hanan and Hazuki just turned on Tekla. They were like stars for the win.
Absolutely.
But then they did like a cross, and Tekla pointed to both sides of the ring. And as they hit the ropes, Hanan and Hazuki got pulled out by the rest of Hate.
Which was a funny moment.
It was really cool to see because it was so well timed. Tekla is just out here doing her thing. She tied Hazuki to the ring post at one point, and then Hanan tried to get a 17 attempt, but that got kicked out of. And then Hazuki got the roll up back on Hanan to get the win and her Wonder of Stardom title shot, her 6th Wonder of Stardom title shot in her career.
Yeah, how this went? I know we got to talk about something coming up.
They've not gone great for her the first 5.
No, okay.
She lost all 5 of them.
Right. Yeah, that's something.
For Hazuki. But she was determined after winning this match to beat Natsupoi.
She did her best.
She did her best, yes. She's done her best every single time.
She has done her best, Raja.
In the semi-main event, Hanako, Wakasukiyama, and Maika took on Yuna Mizumori, Natsupoi, and Tam Nakano. And this is the debut of Hanako's brand new look.
Dum, dum, dum.
Back from America with the long hair and the new gear in that blue. And she does the stomp now in the middle of the ring when they announce her name.
Looks very familiar, doesn't it?
It looks pretty familiar. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before.
It's okay. They steal everything from everywhere else. We're allowed.
She looks amazing.
This is something. Like, if somebody can change a look and change their entire character somehow,
right?
She did it.
She did. And it's like she went to America and came back no longer as young lion Hanako. She's now full-fledged wrestler Hanako.
And that's how it works. Yeah. But I honestly think it was that backyard show she did.
It must have been. She met some shady
She's
characters.
Like, I'm never going to be here again. I'm going to ensure that I'm never here again. Long hair, yes. Here I come.
Yes, I'm going to make sure I'm beloved in Japan.
Well, she's doing a good job of it.
We also got a little Cosmic Angels dance in the opening of this match. It was all fun.
We popped for it really big.
But it was a prelude match for the title match. So it was just like your normal fare, Maika and Tam showing off a little and everyone else doing their thing. But this is where Hanako debuted also her new finisher, the Shirasagi, which is a standing triangle choke where she lifts the person.
Yeah, it's like a standing head and arm, and it's brutal.
It is. Like, she gets it on there, she's cool for a second, then she just wrenches back, and their feet are no longer
because
touching.
Of the height difference with her and most of the roster, it would be essentially, like Lance Archer doing that to somebody.
Yeah. She's got the height on him, so she's able to do it.
The leverage there, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Hanako, Waka, and Maika won this match, which brought us into the main event for the high-speed title, Xena versus Mei Seira, which went to a draw. That's what I could say about it. These two are so good, and against each other, they exemplify that. You've got the chops, you've got the speed.
It was a great
Xena
match.
Kept up wonderfully with Mei Seira. I was very impressed with her ability.
It was surprising.
It was. You don't expect someone to just jump into the high-speed division and be able to keep up, okay?
No, the high-speed division is a special beast that if you don't watch Stardom, you cannot appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You're just thinking, if someone tells you about it, it's one of those things where you can't describe it properly to someone for them to understand it until you see like a Zumi and Starlight.
Right, until you see actual high-speed match in the making. But nobody won this match. Xena and Mei went to a time limit draw, so I guess they'll run it back at some point.
But damn, it was a great match.
It was really good. It was a great main event for this show. I was very impressed with them both.
It was a good Korakuen Hall show.
It was really enjoyable. But later in the week, a couple days later, on the 13th, we had New Blood 14. It's very confusing.
Right.
In Nagoya. And as you know, New Blood, or if you don't know, New Blood is the show where they kind of focus on the future talent.
Right.
And sometimes they'll bring in people from outside of Stardom.
Traditionally.
To sort of show their stuff. They didn't do that here.
This one, not so much. This was somewhat of a Stardom younger talent showcase.
It was, yes. And it was focused around more of the New Blood branding, like the tag team titles and stuff within Stardom. But it was still really enjoyable. We got to see Tam Nakano and Sayaka Kurara team up to take on Maika and Rion. Once again, Maika getting a win over Tam Nakano in a match. I mean, she didn't beat Tam Nakano herself, but her team still won this match.
And listen, I think this New Blood card was great, honestly.
It was. I really enjoyed all the matches.
I thought it was, even looking at it as just a house show or something, it was fantastic.
It was, and it was pretty short. It was like a nice little bite-sized show.
I like bot-style shows.
I loved that Micah gave Rion a tiny version of her kitsune mask to wear out to the ring. It was very cute.
It felt like maybe that we're getting closer to that being a thing, but
they all want Rion to join EXV, okay?
Yeah.
They're waiting for it.
It's weird that it hasn't happened though.
It is. In the second match, Konami took on Rana Yagami, and Shiri got involved a little in this match. She stopped Konami from using a chair on Rana in the midst of the match.
I love that because that rarely happens.
Yeah. She never gets involved.
You have people seconds all the time, and when someone's going to use something, it just happens.
Yeah.
This was shocking, kind of, because that doesn't, you think about it doesn't happen.
Yeah, but I guess Shiri's just so on the brink of not caring anymore when it comes to Konami. She's like, I don't think so. You're not hitting my protege over the head with a chair.
When it does happen, when she blows.
Yes. It's going to happen.
It's going to be amazing.
I cannot wait for that volcanic eruption. But Konami's in top form here. She had this crazy backhand slap, and she finished the match by kicking Rana with a triple combo of kicks right in the head. So, and then spray painted her all over her face.
Yeah, I still think that somebody may need to translate English audience to Japanese audience with the spray paint of the face.
Just choose a different color.
I feel a bit odd when I watch it, but I get it.
Just choosing a green or something,
right?
Yeah,
something.
Go with the Outcast version.
There you go.
Next, Waka Tsukiyama and Hanako teamed up to take on Saya Ida and Hanan, and this is an ongoing rivalry. Waka Tsukiyama and Hanako in the past challenged Wingori for their New Blood Tag Team titles when they had them. They don't have them anymore. This is sort of just a renewal of that.
Yeah.
Fighting rivalry. Waka had some new gear here to match Hanako's.
She did. It's been a while.
She was looking for that. But Hanako won this match using the Shirasagi once more. 2 in a row.
Hanako had quite a hell of a week.
She did. A comeback week to rival any other, I think.
And with the look, and she was already feeling that way. We know she's a top star to be.
Absolutely. She's got it all.
Yeah.
The moves, the look. Does. She's perfect.
And the attitude.
In the semi-main, Hina and Tomoka Inaba teamed up to take on Starlight Kid and Miyu Amasaki. And this was just, it's God's Eye versus Neo Genesis, and all these girls are similar age. I know Hina's a little younger, but it was just fun to see them in there. And the coolest thing about this is just Starlight and Tomoka having banter.
Yes.
After the match, and Tomoka being like, I can't join Neo Genesis. I'm in God's Eye. And Starlight being like, oh, well, can't you?
Right.
I love them. They're so funny. But it's cool to see this generation go back and forth with each other and just...
It does make sense, though, still.
It makes so much sense.
And they're talking about
there.
They're talking about it.
I know. They're laying it all out. They're teasing it here and there. And Tomoka's always like, no, I'm in God's Eye.
I just think it's funny because that's something that we kind of shipped ourselves.
Yeah. During the tournament, we're like, Tomoka and Neo Genesis.
And when other people are doing it and the talent is talking about it, there's got to be something there.
I know Tomoka loves God's Eye, and she fits so well within the framework of God's Eye. But also, it's they've got Rana, and then they added Hina and Lady
C. Look, man, if we were writing an anime, we got to have our karate girl in there.
I agree. I think she'd be a great addition to Neo Genesis.
Yeah.
I think it should just happen.
I think we need to make it happen.
I was hoping it would this weekend, but...
Manifest Jones.
Has not. And in the main event, Aya Sakura teamed with Yuna Mizumori to take on Rina and Azusa Inaba once more. And for some reason, I picked the wrong winner on this match on my notes. Rina and Azusa Inaba won this match with Rina's knees from the top. And afterwards, Azusa Inaba officially joined Hate.
Did the old put the shirt on
Look
gimmick.
at that. They got a new member. They've got some great young talent over there in Hate already. Now they've got Rina, Ruaka, and Azusa Inaba just all there in their ranks. That's crazy.
It is. And it speaks highly of the work rate of Hate.
It does. And having Azusa and Rina, of course, they're the New Blood Tag Team champions right now. So
between the two Inaba sisters, I honestly see the most upside in Azusa.
She's got so much potential.
And that's not to take anything away
from
Tomoka. It's just to Man, she's good, dude.
I find it so funny that we got these pairs of sisters, and there's the one like very disciplined, very like technical, cool one, and then there's the dark side, like little, like tricky one over there.
But anybody who has sisters,
yeah,
that's how it works.
Absolutely.
When there's like 3 siblings, there's the smart
those differing
one,
personalities.
there's the crazy one,
yes,
and the one that kisses mom's butt.
Yes, Rina and Azusa are the feral children of their families, apparently.
Yes.
I just think that it's obvious that we eventually need to do Rina and Azusa versus Hina and Tomoka, now that Hina and Tomoka are both in the same faction.
It's going to happen sometime.
It's gotta. But that brings us to the pay-per-view.
To the big time pay-per-view. This was worth your time. This was worth the money. If you ever go to sleep on a Stardom pay-per-view, with the exception of the Halloween show last year.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about Bruno. This was insane, guys. Listen, it was a tale of two kitties, like has happened many times for us.
Yes.
You had some matches they had to get through, almost like story stuff. Like, okay, we got to do this. We got to do this.
Okay, yeah, we're doing it.
And nothing bad. Nothing bad, but nothing pay-per-view. You know?
It's always like the first half of the card and then the second half of the card.
And Jesus, Lord, have mercy. Wait till we get to the second half of the card.
This card was so long. From September 14th in Osaka, Stardom Namba Grand Fight. We kicked off the show with a pre-show match where Rion took on Xena. And it was very short. It was just your basic pre-show match, honestly. Yeah. They were just, Xena was in charge the whole time.
And again, it was interesting, because where is Rion going to go?
Right. And afterwards, Xena, in the post-match comment, she's like, yeah, you're going to keep your eyes on EXV because, they obviously want her to join. I don't know why they don't just ask her.
She's kind of went through the gambit,
She has.
So
she's been teaming a lot with like Micah and Waka and all of them. And
it's making her hate them.
It is. She's like, I just want to get away from these people.
Yeah. It's so funny. If she joins someone else,
you gotta think
pop so hard
with the promo she gave before her debut about wanting to be high speed and all that, and choosing Starlight as her debut match. You have to believe she wants to join Neo Genesis, right?
Yeah, but she can't.
I know, but that's got to be what's in her mind.
I know they don't really point out the O2 thing. They don't. They don't just come out and say it.
No, they don't.
But everybody's from O2. That's why we want Tomoka in there. It's like the O2 thing.
Right. And I know later in the night, Starlight, because she teamed with Kohaku, who's a year younger, she's like, you're part of our generation and like 20 somethings or whatever. But in our minds, it's like, oh, you were all born in 2002. That's really cool.
Yeah. They might have to muddy it up eventually.
They're gonna have to eventually. How many wrestlers can they possibly find that were born in 2002?
I would have never thought we had that many good ones.
I know.
In that corner of the world, in that corner of
the same promotion.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Having May and Suzu join Stardom helped.
And the cool thing is they're mostly from different classes too.
Maybe they don't talk about it because Starlight technically doesn't tell her age.
She doesn't.
Maybe she's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm forever.
I don't have a year of birth. I'm the Sky Tiger.
That'll absolutely keep being said. I think Tam says the same thing.
Oh yeah, Tam's like thousands of years old or something.
Yeah.
The first main card match was Mina Shirakawa versus Saya Kamatani. Oh wait. Pre-show match, 2.5 stars.
Yes.
In my mind.
Yeah. I'm with you.
It was fine. It was basic. It was great. So Mina Shirakawa versus Saya Kamatani. And I was excited about this match because these two have a bit of history. Like in the past, they fought for the Wonder of Stardom title. There was that match where Saya Kamatani broke Mina's face with a Phoenix Splash. They don't like each other, okay? And I think that's probably even worse now that Saya betrayed Mina's best friend and co-leader of EXV. Probably a lot of bad blood there. So this was started with them being silly and Saya trying to like get Mina to come out of the ring and join her, and they were doing like the one in, one out of the ring thing.
Right.
And then Mina one time stopped at the ropes and stayed in and like tricked Saya. She was like, nope.
Yeah, she's had enough of this.
Yeah, but there were some really cool spots in this match. Like this one spot where Mina's sitting down and Saya leans over the back of her and she's doing her little taunt to her and stuff. So Mina just leans back and up kicks her right in the face with both feet.
Yeah, it was great.
Just absolutely obliterates her.
It was sudden, you know?
And when there was one time when Mina had Saya in the figure 4 and Saya pulled the referee over top of them and made him fall on top of Mina so she'd let go of the hold. Like, Saya was just out in full tricky form tonight. Yes, full annoying form tonight.
Yes.
Mina used her striking a lot in this match to kind of keep Saya on the back foot, but Saya was able to reverse the glamorous driver and roll Mina up and climb the ropes with her feet until they were on the very top rope to get the pin.
It was one of the silliest. Okay, so anybody who's ever watched wrestling has seen the heel put their foot on the ropes for leverage, but rarely have you ever seen them climb. Doop, doop, doop.
She was like upside down in the pin for leverage.
In my opinion, it kind of jobbed Barb out a little bit.
Barb.
Yeah.
Barb, what are you looking at? He must have been so hyper-focused on the shoulders that he didn't see. And like he got blinders on.
That's what we're telling ourselves.
Maybe he's blind in that eye. We just don't know.
We don't know about it.
It's all those death matches he wrestled. Something got in there.
Oh, yeah. It happens.
We'll just go with that.
Okay.
But Mina was not happy about this loss, obviously, even though she's like a mega superstar overseas and everything. In her post-match comments, she commented on how everyone only likes Saya because she changed her entire look and like made herself into someone totally new. And Mina has not done that. She's been exactly the same ever since her debut, and she's never changed who she is. So
love that. Love it.
She's like, everyone wants Mina and no one wants you.
So I have to put this out there because you're talking about the blind and one eye thing. This is a little nugget of information for you. So I'm currently reading the Ballyhoo book, which I highly recommend to anyone who loves wrestling,
right,
and wants to know the history of pro wrestling, the real history, going back 1800s, the Carney times, all this. Ballyhoo itself, the word comes from the stage they would have at the carnivals. That was the bally,
right,
and what the carnival barker is trying to, step up, see the one-eyed midget from, from Indonesia or whatever.
Right.
That's the hooey, right? So,
right.
So ballyhoo is what he is spewing.
Right.
And the carnival barker stuff. So that's a ballyhoo. Anyway, they had this. The author is going through all the beginnings of pro wrestling, Greco-Roman to, the catch-as-catch-can style that we're more familiar with, and how these things intermingled, and who the original Frank Gotch stuff, and all this incredible information. But it makes mention of this style that was in the American South back in the 1700s. And it was like rough and dirty, or
rough and tumble.
Rough and tumble. I think that is what they actually called it. It was something along those lines was the name of it. It wasn't exactly pro wrestling, but people would gather and two people would fight.
Right.
And everything was allowed. And it's so funny because the newspaper articles from the time trying to describe it talked about how there was everything went. Everything was legal.
Right.
The gouging, the biting,
my goodness,
the physical manipulation of the joint manipulation, all this stuff. So the only two rules, they had two rules.
Okay.
Do you want to know what they were?
Yes.
So rule number 1 is when the fellow wants to give up, you have to give up. You stop right then.
Right.
As soon as somebody, in today's world would tap out, you're done.
Right.
Which I respect that. That makes you feel safe, right?
Right.
Rule number 2 of the only two rules is you cannot gouge the eye out of a one-eyed man.
So you have to leave him at least one good eye.
Because of so many eyes would be pulled out and gouged out during these fights.
That's terrible.
That they actually had to make a rule to not take the one good eye out.
That's amazing.
And
terrible.
Just like any sign you ever see,
there's a reason for it.
It only exists because somebody
took someone's only good eye.
Oh yeah,
at some point, and that guy's blind now.
So I had to throw that in there, guys. Educate yourself, culture yourself. Go find the Ballyhoo book and read it, or if you don't read, get it on Audible because they've also got it there.
Yes, you need to know your history. You got to know where everything comes from.
And they talk about the women quite a bit. And a lot of women I didn't even know about, including like some early, what they considered world champions. Incredible stories about some of these people. Minerva was the name of the first ever lady to be considered the world champion in pro wrestling. And this is late 1800s. Is when this happened, and she had a strong man husband, and they would travel the world. She would take on men, women. It didn't matter. And one of the most wonderful things about it is she was very. She was from like an Eastern Bloc country. She was right. She was one of those just European strong ladies, right? And they talked about her size just being. She was big. She was a big girl. And just strong as hell. And she actually held Guinness Book records for how much weight she could pick up. And
that's crazy.
But she could also fight. And but she was sweet as could be. And
of course.
Except for this one time, and she did the interview and talked about it. There was a guy that just kept heckling her, and she would stop, and she looked out at the crowd, and she's like, "Hey, you need to shut up. You need to stop, or I'm going to come out there." Well, he said something else, and she went out there and like threw this guy like through the wall or whatever.
Oh my God.
So it was.
That's insane.
I'm a huge fan of Minerva. I gotta find out more about Minerva, but the ladies were just as big of a part of it as the men. And we've talked about a lot of times how we lost such a period in the United States.
Yeah.
We're during the diva era.
Yeah.
And in Japan, the reason I think we're still at such a high level is they never had that diva era.
They never went backwards.
Right. And
of course,
so,
yes.
Interesting stuff. All right, back to our regular scheduled podcast.
Yes, so match-wise, there were some cool moments in this match, but given the finish and there weren't like any falsies and there was nothing huge that really happened, it's still like a 3-star match.
And that's being generous.
That's very generous.
I don't think this match lived up anywhere to its potential.
So what it could have, like what we've seen them do in the past, definitely not. But it was an early card match.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Placement.
Absolutely.
When you're going out there to get the crowd going, just get Asaya's character over, get Mina's character over.
Yeah.
Leave us wanting.
It's probably leading to more, if I had to guess.
The way it was won,
yeah,
you can't leave it there.
No, you can't leave it with a cheating win.
Yeah, no.
Following that, we saw Hina and Rana Yagami team up to take on Waka Tsukiyama and Hanako. Yet another Waka and Hanako match. It was the normal Waka and Hanako fare. There were hip thrusts. There was Hanako doing her cool squat body slam. You
love that thing.
I love that she squats on the body slam. It makes it look so much more devastating given her height. Yeah. And like, it's like she's actually slamming them instead of just throwing them down, So
this match was, once again, as you said, but I really think it's just the Hanako showcase.
It is. This is her 3rd win in a row since she got back, 3rd in the week with the Shirasagi. She's just racking them up. Yeah. And I think that it's going to lead to something. Me for too. Sure. Probably. I think she's probably past the Future of Stardom gateway at this point. I don't know if Hanako and Waka might get the New Blood tag team titles. It seems like that's what they're aiming for.
Waka's racking up some wins.
But we have the Goddess of Stardom tag league coming up soon, so you never know.
Now, I'm excited to see what happens. I'm looking over the hood.
Me too.
Because I really can't wait. After seeing early Hanako versus Starlight Kid, and what Hanako was able to do with that limited moveset.
Yeah.
Where she's at already.
Mm-hmm. She's added so much.
I can't imagine a year from now.
Yeah, she's definitely got so much upside still and so much potential that hasn't even been realized, but she's learned to use her height in such a beautiful way and like put it to use in the ring, and her moveset has come such a long way as well. It's only going to get better from here.
So if we get a match with Hanako at Historic Crossover 2, who would you want her to team with?
Oh, who would we put Hanako with? Oh, man. I'm trying to rack my brain on the New Japan roster.
Well, I mean, maybe a big Mongolian-looking dude.
Maybe.
Would be cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm so excited to see who they team up at Historic Crossover, like in general.
I want to go back and watch the first one again.
Me too, because they had a lot of really cool team ups in that one, and it's been so long since that first one that the roster's like completely changed.
It has for the most part, but there's still some that they could team up again.
I think we're pretty set on who Tekla's probably going to team up with.
Yeah, I think so. It's good. We're going to be robbed.
That's like the one that we're sure of.
And I think we might know Micah as well. So
you think?
Maybe. We'll see.
I don't know. I've gone back and forth on a lot of them. I think we should do like a dream matchup before November when it happens.
Yeah, me too.
We should do our own like mix and match and see who we would put with other people.
Deal.
We can do it separately and then like share and see if we
how close
align.
We are. All right.
After that match, that match was like 2.5 stars. It was a good match. Not excellent, but good. It was what it was.
It did what it needed to do. They tried their best.
They did announce the next pay-per-view for October 5th, Nagoya Golden Fight, and they gave the historic crossover date again for November 17th and all of the Wrestle Kingdom dates, which we've talked about in the past. You know, it's going from 1/3 all the way to 1/6 with all those shows during Wrestle Kingdom week.
You probably have these in the notes later, but since you're talking about it, it might be time to talk about the English commentary.
Oh, yeah. They announced that Walker from New Japan is coming over to do some English commentary for Stardom.
Old Velvet Voice himself.
That's going to be so cool because we noticed on Capital Collision how good he did during the Stardom matches and like how knowledgeable he was about the product. And I'm like super excited to have him on there more regularly to hear what he has to say. It can't be any worse than the past English commentary that we've witnessed with mistake-wise.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be great because he brings a certain legitimacy to the call.
Absolutely.
And
he does have a beautiful voice to listen to.
He does. He really does. And I think he's going to absolutely do his homework and treat it with respect.
Absolutely. We've seen that already with New Japan.
Somebody asked him a question online, is this going to be every show? He's like, no, right now it's going to be this and the historic crossover.
Right.
And hopefully, I'm sure like and they're going to look at the numbers and see how it goes.
Yeah. I would imagine like him being there during historic crossover because it's a New Japan show and the Wrestle Kingdom week is like New Japan as well. So that makes a lot of sense. But the fact he's going to be there for like Golden Fight and stuff is really cool.
Yeah, very much.
And I don't know if he's going to have like Waka join him at some point or something, but Mina maybe.
We'll see.
We got some English speakers there.
We do.
In the Stardom locker room.
We do. Momokogo.
Yes. Momokogo indeed. So following those announcements, we saw an 8-man tag match where Aya Sakura, Sayaka Kurara, Yuna Mizumori, and Sari Ano took on Azusa Inaba, Rina, Ruaka, and Natsuka Tora. And I put in my notes here, cool matchup time, because that's what this match felt like to me. It was like, here's all these single matchups in this one match that you want to see. So we got Sayaka Kurara and Azusa Inaba was a lot of fun. Yuna and Ruaka, of course, because they have that little feud that they've been going through. And then Aya, Sakura, and Rina, of course, were the main focus because they have been building this Future of Stardom title feud between them. Cosmic Angels was very useful in this match when Aya Sakura was battling Rina because Hate kept trying to get involved.
Yes.
And Cosmic Angels was like, I don't think so. They've done that in the past, as we've talked about in that title match with Tam and Natsuka Tora. Cosmic Angels is just done with Hate's shit right now. They're no, you're not getting involved.
And I love that.
And most beautifully of all, I think, is that Aya Sakura was able, instead of winning by roll-up like she did in that last match, she made Rina tap to a triangle choke, which is a big deal, I think.
I think it's a huge deal. I don't think we've had a build for a future title match where we've had this much, lopsidedness.
Right.
And sometimes, old wrestling lore, you would think that means Rina's gonna win, but I don't know. When you've had a couple like this.
Yeah, Aya Sakura has been showing that she's dangerous in that ring.
And we want Aya to be...
I think she'd be a great Future of Stardom champion. And now that Rina's crossed the threshold of both of those records she was trying to break, it begs the question, where does she go from here?
Yeah, I think it's time for Rina to move up.
Yeah, I think Rina's more than ready to start kind of main rostering it. I know she's on the main roster, but, play with the big girls up there.
Yeah, I mean, she is talented enough, by far.
Yeah.
To be able to have some of these big title matches and these big time matches because she's been defending that title in 15-minute classics.
Absolutely. And it's been amazing. And I think Aya Sakura versus Rina is going to be a fantastic match.
I do too.
There's a New Blood at the end of the month where I think they'll probably have that match. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it all pans out. But it's a 3.5-star match here.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see any Sariano, which I was like...
Weird.
It was weird, but also it's the night after her big title defense against Miki Iwata. So she might have just been like... hurting, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, this was a good match, though. And
I kind of like that her and Tora stood back and let the younger girls
it was
go at
fun,
it.
man.
Yuna's not like a younger girl, but she's in there too.
Yeah, she's with them.
Following this, we saw a 6-man match with Momokogo, Saida, and Koguma taking on Mei Seira, Starlight Kid, and Kohaku from Wave. And this match began with the ever-growing rivalry between the Kuma and the Tora.
Yes.
The bear versus tiger scenario.
Which is always fun.
With Koguma and Starlight Kid, because Koguma actually wanted Kohaku to do the bear dance with her, but Starlight was like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it, and they're all going to chant for me, because I'm a tiger, and I'm the best. But this was a fun match. Kuma tried to end it early. That didn't work. So they just kind of like, I mean... There wasn't a lot to the match, let's be honest. No. It was fun for what it was, and it was cool to see Kohaku in there. She's around their age of Neo Genesis, so seeing her team up with them was really fun, and she actually got the win using a double arm driver. It was kind of like Miyu's Tensai.
Right.
But that's how she finished the match. She got the win for her team.
And it was fun.
It was. It was fun.
2.5.
2.5 stars, yeah. It was every bit as fun as the matches before it.
Right.
Following that... we started to get into the more serious territory of the night.
Oh, yeah.
When Lady C, Saki Kashima, and Shuri took on Tekla, Momo Watanabe, and Konami. And this match started as many a Hate match starts, with Hate attacking immediately out of the gate while the music is still playing. They're like, not messing around here. Saki takes a lot in this match. She took a major beating at the beginning of this match, but she is just defiant. She is not having it, and we know that when she faces Hate, she's not playing the runaway game.
Yeah.
She's in there to fight.
She's fighting.
Even if she gets beat down, she's not going to let it take her out.
No, she's showing her fighting spirit.
Yeah, and I love that out of her. Momo Watanabe and Shuri get in and just start throwing kicks like nobody's business.
Yes.
The striking is insane when they're in there.
Absolutely.
And it leads to a double high kick, that like lays them both out, which I always love to see. Saki and Konami get in, and then as soon as Konami puts the armbar on Saki Kashima, Shuri jumps in and just reams Konami. And Shuri's not having it with Konami lately. First saving Rana from that chair shot, now saving Saki from the armbar. Everything starts breaking down. Tekla breaks up a pin from Saki on Konami where she could have almost got the win. Then we got the ref bump. The ref bump. And Saki Kashima throws on the Kishi Kaisei for a very obvious visual pin. She should have won this match.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There was a few more pin attempts where they were trying to get the win, but Momo ends up grabbing Shuri and holding her in the corner of the ring and just like in a bear hug almost, just keeping her back while Konami finishes the match by beating Saki Kashima down.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just such a thing. Like, I love that, holding someone back.
Me too.
While their friend is getting beat down. We saw it, obviously, recently with Wheeler Yuta and Bryan Danielson is the most, like, visceral version of this trope. But this was beautiful.
Thanks for reminding me, Raja.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bring up any trauma. But this was so beautiful, the way they won this match. And it just feeds more into Shuri's hate.
Oh, my God.
And the way, like... the fact that Konami was the one to take out Saki in this match, and you just know she's about to burst.
Oh, it's amazing.
And as soon as Hate leaves the ring, Shuri grabs the mic. She starts yelling at Konami. She's like, Momo and Tekla, you better watch out because me and Saki are coming after your goddess belts. And then after that, Konami, I'm coming after you.
Right, yeah.
It was crazy.
It really was.
I absolutely love it, though. I love the idea of Shuri and Saki winning the Goddess of Stardom belts because they've had each other's backs and just been such good friends. And Shuri even asked Saki backstage afterwards if she's okay with that because she just sort of said her name without consulting her. And Saki was like, I told you I would follow you anywhere.
Yeah.
It's so cute. It's so sweet. It's the best friendship.
I want them to finish their story.
Me too. And then I want Sherry to beat Konami so bad that she never tries this shit again. Oh, it would be so sweet. I hope they win the belts, though.
It's great stuff.
Interestingly, just to add a little more to the intrigue,
my favorite part.
After Hate did their backstage comments, they all left. They're like, let's go home. And then like a second later, Tekla pops back in front of the camera and she was like, Natsupoi, the white belt, good luck, and like did the little fist. And then she left. I was like, what? I thought you were mad at her. Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah, there's a whole lot to it. There's a whole lot that story-wise, it feels like we're really building. And I love it. I love it because, again, the intrigue, and that's not the last intrigue of the night by far.
Oh, no. We're just getting started with the intrigue. And I just, seeing that after the fact, even, when you watch the backstage comments after the show's like completely over.
Right.
It was like, oh.
Yeah.
This just blows your mind. 3.5 stars, though. Match-wise, I think, for that one.
Absolutely.
It was really good.
It had enough story to it. I like it. It was great action.
Yes. I mean, there was a lot of hate shenanigans, but...
There was, but
you're going to get what you're going to get.
It don't matter what era you watch. There's a version of hate.
Absolutely.
So it's just part of... It's almost tradition.
Yes. After that, we saw Suzu Suzuki in a singles match against Tomoka and Namba. My favorite part about this match was how much Suzu seemed to be feeling herself the entire time. Like, especially at the beginning when she had Tomoka and she took her on the ramp and did the running kick, and then she did a running kick on the apron. She was just having fun.
It was really different from Suzu of late. You know, Suzu of late has not been... She's not been unhappy by any means.
Right, but she hasn't had that same swagger that we're used to out of Suzu Suzuki.
It. She was pulling her oats.
She was all the way here for this match. She was talking the entire time. That's one of my favorite things about her. She just does not stop talking during a match.
Yeah, we've talked about she's very much like an Emi Sakura.
Absolutely.
And that's who she reminds me of a lot.
Very enjoyable. Tomoka did get some moves in this match. She got like a wicked fast Michinoku driver, and she tried really hard. She kicked out of the tequila shot. She tried really hard here, and like her kicks, as always, were on point, like especially those head kicks.
It honestly would not have surprised me if Tomoka had went over.
Me either. I honestly didn't know who was going to win this match.
This one was up in the air to me, but I think we know now.
Right. We kind of have an idea.
Yeah.
Suzu was able to win this match with her her German suplex flip, German suplex hold move that's never let her down in the past.
No, there was some good stuff in this, but it
never got there.
It didn't get there.
It didn't hit that next gear that we're used to.
In this part of the card.
Yeah.
It should have got there.
I think so, because this was right before the final 3 matches. Like, it should have been more than what it was.
What it felt like to me, and you know us, we're Mr. and Mrs. Positivity.
Of course.
But what it felt like to me was when you have 2 friends and you're kind of going over your match in the back, and you just, it just felt like we didn't lay it in.
Yeah, they did seem to take it a little lighter than what we're used to seeing.
Both of these girls are killers.
Yes, we've seen that for sure. Like the Suzu versus Tekla match was an example of how hard Suzu can go. And we've seen Tomoka take people's heads off in matches. That's what we wanted to see here.
Yeah, no, I've had guys that I've managed before that had to wrestle one another, and I always hated it because they're so gentle with one another.
They're careful with each other
because they're so close,
right?
And they still do their stuff, but it's not like when we would be in there against somebody we just didn't like.
Right.
And I think it's fine. They're great. It's friends, but turn it up.
There was nothing wrong with the match necessarily. No. It just didn't get you to that. Like, it didn't get us to that place that we like to be in this late in a Stardom pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And the last few matches did that, but this was like 2.5 stars of a match. We just wanted more from it.
Good.
These two deserve more.
Yeah, absolutely.
After that, we had the intermission, but coming back from intermission, Hanan and Mayu Iwatani, eye contact, took on Azumi and Miyu Amasaki, O2 line.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful tag match. Azumi just immediately calls out Mayu Iwatani as soon as the match starts. She's like, I want you,
and
Mayu Iwatani.
Being Katsumi, we have to mention it because she started it during the tournament.
Yes, she's still Katsumi, though, as we speak.
Yeah, I don't know if Katsumi's going away anytime soon.
No, I love the cyberpunk aesthetic on her. It just works really well with her wrestling style and her looks.
And she was on fire in this match.
She was. And a lot of the match at the beginning was Miyu taking a lot of heat from Mayu and Hanan both until she was able to hit this top rope facebuster on Hanan to get away and tag Azumi. And whereas I think Azumi may have gone a little wrong in this match is as soon as she got in, instead of focusing on Hanan, who's the legal person, she went immediately after Mayu Iwatani to the point of like getting out of the ring and doing moves on her instead of focusing on the match itself. So she's like so consumed with this IWGP title shot and Mayu Iwatani in general that I think it was a little to her detriment in this match. But there's like a tale of two stories in this match, okay? It was basically broken up between Hanan versus Miyu and Azumi versus Mayu.
Right.
And the difference in these two matchups is astounding to watch.
Oh, absolutely.
In live action, because Hanan and Miyu Amasaki are like the future.
Yes.
They're going places. But Azumi and Mayu Iwatani are insanely good, especially against each other.
Yeah, and violent.
And every time they're in the ring together, I'm just amazed at what I'm watching.
It's just, they're so violent, so quick.
They are.
So just crisp.
Yes.
And you honestly, their violence is at the scary level.
Yeah, like you don't know if someone's going to come out of this like on top or not.
When they wrestle, there's no such thing as daylight.
There was a moment in this match where Mayu was holding Miyu Amasaki and Hanan drop kicked Miyu, but she drop kicked Mayu's arm at the same time. And Mayu was like selling the arm. She's like, God, that hurt. And then there was a DDT from Miyu Amasaki.
Oh my God.
On Hanan. It was like a flipping DDT where Hanan's neck just bent at the most grotesque angle. And she was holding on to that thing the rest of the match.
Yeah, the rest of the entire match, after the match, everything, she's holding it. They didn't really work it, so I don't think it was a sell.
Right, they didn't work the neck, but
I think it was a ouch.
It looked like an ouch.
Yeah.
It hurt me to watch.
Yeah.
We got to see some fabulous O2 line double team moves in this match. They're just so good together.
They are. I understand the win.
Yes, unfortunately, Hanan got the win with the back chop suplex on Miyu Amasaki to win the match for eye contact, which I don't think is necessarily a loss for O2 line, especially Azumi in particular, because she wasn't the one that took the pin, and Mayu wasn't involved in the pin either, so it was just their proteges, which makes sense. Hanan is ahead of Miyu Amasaki in the game right now, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So it was a really good match. It was a fun tag team match. We've seen some excellent tag team wrestling from Stardom this year, and this is just one of those that goes right up there. I don't think it was like on the level of a FWC Crazy Star, but
no, because there was too many other factors in it.
There were. This match was very much focused on Azumi and Mayu more than the tag team wrestling.
I think it's every bit of 3 1/4 though.
Yeah, definitely a 3 1/4 star match, and mostly what's so amazing about this match is what happened after the match ended, because they're in the ring and Azumi's like, okay, when am I getting my title shot? And all of a sudden the screen turns on and a video appears of one timeless Toni Storm.
So excited.
Oh my God. I screamed, I think. I can't remember. But
you did.
I think I blacked out as well. As we know, Toni Storm has a history in Stardom and with Mayu Iwatani in particular. As she mentioned in the video back in 2017, these two faced off for the World of Stardom Championship because Toni Storm won the 5-Star Grand Prix that year. But in that match for the red belt, 2.5 minutes in, Mayu Iwatani threw a drop kick, landed on her arm wrong, and dislocated her left elbow.
Yes.
So they had to call the match and give Toni Storm the red belt.
Oh, yeah.
Which is insanity.
It is.
To have Toni Storm holding the World of Stardom Championship at that time. I'm sure they had planned Mayu Iwatani to hold that thing for a while. And Mayu talked about in her backstage comments how they took that belt from her and she's never had it again. Like, it's very frustrating for her that her World of Stardom title's like just out there.
Yeah.
But now she's the IWGP Women's World Champion. And Toni Storm wants to prove that win over Mayu was not just a fluke, that she can beat Mayu Iwatani for a belt.
It's so crazy because Toni Storm is at a whole different level right now than where she was then. Okay.
Oh yeah.
She is between the two of them. Mayu Iwatani had already grown at that point.
Right.
And she
was the champion.
Yeah, she was already at that Mayu Iwatani special, point. Toni Storm was developing still. She was great.
Yes.
But she was developing still, and she's had such a journey since then.
Yeah, this win kicked off one of her biggest years in her wrestling career.
And then the whole Timeless deal. I mean,
oh my goodness.
She has had some of the best classics, and just character-wise.
Yeah.
The fact of Toni Storm coming back to Japan.
Yeah, that's one of the best parts, is that she didn't call Mayu out and be like, come to America and face me.
Yeah.
She's going to be at Nagoya Golden Fight on October 5th in Japan to face Mayu Iwatani for this belt.
That, to me, you talk about a partnership between two places.
My God.
Sending Toni Storm is a little different than sending Robin Renegade.
Right. It's completely different.
And listen, I'm a huge fan of Robin Renegade.
Yes,
that's
of course.
Nothing against her.
Robin's amazing.
But, putting somebody that's actually taking your TV time, right?
Yeah.
Over to Japan.
Absolutely.
That's impressive, man. And this is going to be a hell of a fight, and neither one of these ladies can lose.
No, they can't. They absolutely. It would be weird. But Mayu was all for it. She's like, yeah, let's do it. She's like, what have you been doing lately? What happens if I beat you? I know Mariah has that title now, so maybe that could happen in the future. And she asked Izumi to wait just a little longer for her title shot because she needs to take care of this Toni Storm business first. She knows she owes Izumi a title shot, but she's just going to have to wait a little longer. And I don't know if Izumi's going to be happy about that, but...
Yeah, Izumi kind of falls into the Hazuki category for me a lot of times.
Oh, Hazuki.
Incredibly talented and...
Overlooked.
Underrated.
Oh, it's going to be so good. I'm so excited for October 5th.
Me too.
That match is going to be crazy good.
I cannot wait.
And I don't know who's going to win, but I feel like if Mayu keeps that belt, it's going to cement her as like... I mean, that belt hasn't been around for a long time, but even in the future, people are going to look back and be like, Mayu Iwatani made that belt what it is.
I think that I really want Mayu Iwatani to win this.
Me too. Toni can kind of afford to lose because she's not the AEW World Champion anymore.
If there was a time to lose.
Yeah, it would be now. She's been crazy and running around the world.
She would have excuses.
She would, I think. And I don't think she would care.
No.
To lose to Mayu Iwatani.
I mean, who would?
Fair.
That was...
If you know what you're talking about.
That was the second time this week that you've kind of lost your mind.
Yeah.
the first time...
There's been a lot happen this week.
Yeah, the first time was when we were in Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, for Collision.
And we were sitting front row. You can go back and watch it and see us there.
Yes.
The whole time, because the cameras seem to find us quite often.
We're off to the right on the hard cam.
We are, but the easiest way to find us, Raja, would be to go to the Serena Deeb match. When the professor came out, and you're a big fan of Serena Deeb.
I love Serena Deeb.
You do.
She's incredible.
And apparently, Serena Deeb felt that aura, comes out with her Deeb's Dojo banner.
Yes.
And on camera, takes it off, looks at Raja. I'm standing right there. And she's like, oh, I'm definitely giving this to you. And puts it around Raja's neck.
Mind you, I'm decked out in my Queen's Quest shirt.
Yes. The Queen's Quest shirt on the front row. But she gets the thing.
Oh my goodness.
And
it was amazing.
Raja didn't talk to me.
I was in shock, I think.
So I think 10 minutes go by. Okay.
Well, I was watching the Yuka Sakazaki match.
So I think 10 minutes go by. And by the way, the Yuka Sakazaki versus Serena Deeb match was fantastic.
It was so good.
And even the aftermatch was fantastic. But we're sitting there. The whole match goes by.
And trying to pay attention.
Finally, Raja touches the thing. And she like looks over at me. And she still didn't like put over anything, didn't say too much. We're in the car afterwards, going back to Kentucky.
I kept it around my neck the whole time.
And she's like, did she say anything to me?
I said she said something, but I couldn't hear her because her music was playing and I was in shock.
Oh my God.
She was looking right at me.
It was so funny.
I couldn't hear anything.
It was just so funny just because you're a fan of hers. And, I hope that she listens.
Like, I'm not, when it comes to people like wrestlers, especially that I'm a big fan of, when I meet them, I'm not like a freak out kind of person. I'm a leave my body kind of person, apparently, because I just completely freeze up.
Well, I mean, like we talked about before, you're one night in the business when I brought you in as a manager.
I try to keep it cool, but I don't think I do.
You're standing there calling a match with, in the middle of calling a match, and Hangman Page is like,
it's like Baby Page at the time.
Baby Page.
Yeah.
But, so I mean, even the ones that you've met.
Well, I met Hiromu Takahashi and the same thing happened.
Yes. I think it's certain.
I stop operating.
I think it's certain people with certain auras.
Yeah, it's my faves.
It's
the same thing would happen if I met like Mika Iwata or Utami Hayashishita, probably.
I think something else would happen if you met them. But
well,
at
this point, Micah.
It's funny because, I've started in the business so many years ago. And I never got that. I never had that. I even got to be in the ring with Jake the Snake Roberts and Bill the Butcher and all these people.
You were just like, it's part of the business.
And I managed Bobby Eaton. I mean, all my heroes, right?
Right.
And I never really had a problem with any of it.
Right.
But there was one aura
that overtook them all.
Of all people, there was one aura one time that really got me. And
I know
what it was. And it's so weird to me still.
Just walking down the hall, you were just like, wow, that was something.
But when I met Naito.
Yeah.
And was
Tetsuya Naito does have quite the aura.
It was so crazy because I'm not a huge Naito fan. Like, I'm not a fanboy.
This was 2018, mind you. This was 2018 Naito. He was like at the top of his game.
It was just so funny though, because this guy has an aura.
He does.
He just has this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like Takahashi didn't bother me at all. I was trying to make excuses why you didn't hug him back. But Naito. No, what's funny is I did the same thing with Hiromu because you bought me a Hiromu shirt.
Yeah.
We went to New Japan show in Charlotte. And it was Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
So we were in Charlotte for a New Japan show. And this is a couple years later. So Hiromu Takahashi comes out. He had a new shirt that was not released in America yet.
No, we got it from the Japanese website.
But Miss Japanese websites over here had already got me the shirt. So I'm wearing the shirt. He stops. We're front row center for that show.
I've got my cats.
And yeah, you've got the cat, you've got the Darryls, and he stops and he looks and he starts talking to me.
And you're like, oh.
And I mean, it's hard. His English is super broken.
Yes.
But it was so funny because he's pointing at the shirt and it was.
He's got something about him.
But I had this stupid look. He must have thought that I was like, he probably wanted to like put a nickel in a can for me because.
I think like now with my prevailing love for women's wrestling, I feel like that happens more like if I were to meet Mariah or Jamie or Tony or somebody like that, I would like completely lose my mind.
Yeah, but I think that you respect Deeb's work so much.
She's impeccable in the ring.
And you always put that over. So I think
I love technical wrestling.
And you do. And I think a lot of that was so funny for me because thinking about how much you respect her.
Yeah.
That was
every time she has a match, I'm like, oh yeah, sorry to the match.
That was a big moment. So
we're eating good tonight. Okay, sorry about that tangent.
I had to call you out.
Yes, I freaked out multiple times this week.
All right.
It has been a good week.
And the reason is that we're getting a little bit here ahead of ourselves because we're getting ready to freak out again.
Oh God. Okay, these last two matches.
Deep breath.
All right, the semi-main event of Namba Grand Fight. For the Wonder of Stardom Championship.
Very rare.
Hazuki versus Natsupoi. So, just to start out, like, Natsupoi's entrance, can we just give it the love that it deserves? She always looks good, but this was just on another level.
Some people can call themselves a warrior. Some people can call themselves a superhero, and they'll come out in a stupid little superhero costume, whatever.
Yes.
Or they'll come out and they'll look like a warrior, and they'll have an axe or something,
a Viking or something.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, that's cute. That's your little gimmick or whatever. She's a fairy.
She just is.
She's ethereal.
Yeah.
And I
think she's from the other realm.
I really believe she's a fairy queen.
And when she looked like when she looks in the camera, you just like talk about aura. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
If Poi was anywhere in the vicinity, we would probably just pass away.
Oh my. Poi, the love of Poi is such a next. How do you look at her in the ring?
Yeah.
Her facials, her storytelling, her work.
I don't know.
Her everything is so special. Do we understand what we're seeing? We're seeing someone with top talent at the top of their game.
Oh my God.
Having the top matches.
Yeah. She's got a very Akira Hakuto, Minami Toyota like thing going on that I think in the future people are going to look back and be like, she was the best.
They're going to study her matches.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She's so, like, we talked about how one of our favorite matches from the 5-star was Mayu versus Natsupoi. And it's just, there's a level that she operates at that is insane.
I don't remember who it was, but we were talking about how this was somebody's best match and this was somebody's best match. And we looked at each other, and it was on our old podcast, and we figured out, like, oh crap. That was all against the same person.
Right. We're like, oh, maybe it's because they're facing this person.
Yeah. It might have been Kenny or Will.
It was
somebody like that.
Yeah.
And it was so funny to us because we were,
it clicked. It was like all these people that we don't really like watching, but we were like, that match was really amazing. And then we realized it was like, oh, it's because they're facing one of the most amazing wrestlers to ever live.
Yeah. And Luthez, legendary Luthez, talked about in his book, Hooker, which, a hooker is a shooter. Once you famously said, once you know how to hook, it doesn't matter the size difference.
Right.
Anyone can beat anyone. And, he talked about what a worker was. And a worker and what that actually meant. The term worker was somebody that is at a very high level that could go to a town and he would take your local guy and make that local guy look like $1 million, look like absolutely was at his level.
Oh my God, it's Roderick Strong versus Beef.
Yeah. I mean,
Roderick Strong is a worker, and we know that.
But Luthez just talking about that, and back then, he started at a time when you actually went and got like some local guy,
right? Yeah,
and pulled him in and made them look like $1 million. But that was a worker, and that's what you took pride in. You didn't take pride in making somebody look bad because you're so much better than them.
Right. You want the match to be amazing.
Or sandbagging them.
Right.
You took pride in every match you have being fantastic, regardless of the skill level of your opponent.
Right. Because
you are a worker. And let me tell you, Natsupoi is a next level worker. And a lot of that comes... God. People are always like, well, that person does cool moves. That one does cool moves. That the offense is such a small part of this.
Yeah.
The selling.
Yeah, the facials.
Everything.
And the ability to do a match that tells a story throughout the course of the match. Where you do callbacks from earlier in the match.
Language barriers matter not with Natsupoi.
Absolutely not.
Because her eyes, because...
Oh, God, she's the most emotional person, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's like we were watching that Netflix Japan show, and Urian Retriever was talking to Dump Matsumoto and to the crowd, and like everyone in the room is crying.
Yeah, you should probably explain that. You can't just drop nuggets like that.
Netflix is releasing the Dump Matsumoto series, the Queen of Villains. And Urian Retriever plays Dump Matsumoto in the show.
Fantastically.
And they had a little special show in Korakuen Hall with a match. And then they had like all the actresses come out that play all the girls. And Urian gave like this speech at the end, and everyone was crying in the room.
Yeah, it was amazing.
She's great. But yeah, Natsupoi, her emotional like commitment. And I know it's her real emotions. Like she is so into this is her world.
Yeah.
This is her life.
I mean, and you see pictures of her in crowds.
Yeah.
Watching wrestling.
Wrestling is everything to her, and you can tell by the way she works and by the way she talks to the other wrestlers. Her commitment is off the charts.
I think you have to go back to the series with her and Tam.
Oh gosh.
And you have
I think about that sometimes, and it hurts me.
I think about it sometimes in the realm of I want to go back
and
appreciate it correctly.
Yeah. Because that was a very transitional period for Natsupoi. She was still in Donna Del Mondo at the time.
And it was those matches. You go back to Cage. You go back to
that Cage match.
Jesus, I mean, it was so unreal.
Yeah, it didn't even really stop there because then it morphed into her and Sariano with her having to prove that she belongs in Cosmic Angels. She's just been on this roller coaster.
The Sariano over this past summer.
I know.
That made us love the Mika match. I mean, really.
Natsupoi's stories are just top tier.
Yeah.
And it doesn't change in this match.
So yes, her entrance.
Yeah, her entrance was beautiful.
She looked like a fairy queen.
And that's not to say that Hazuki needs to be made to look good or anything like that.
No.
We've talked extensively about how incredible the 5-star was for Hazuki and how much we believe in her and want her to get to this level and have her flowers. She deserves them.
Again, as if a manifestation station here. We've been talking for a long time about Hazuki. You're right. And Hazuki's one of those workers for us that really is just, she's going to have, if it's a singles match, Hazuki's going to be brutal. She's going to have an amazing singles match, especially if it's the top of the card. She doesn't get many chances at that.
Right.
Like she should.
Yeah.
But if you go back to FWC stuff, you go back to...
She's an excellent tag team wrestler.
It's incredible, but she's just an excellent wrestler. I mean, it's unreal. It's probably her making most of that.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
So,
this matchup is just, we were excited to begin with.
We've wanted her to go heel.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about it probably since we started this show. We're like, when's Hazuki turning heel?
Just because, I invite you to go back and watch her in Oedo Tai.
Oh, man. She's so cool.
She's a heel.
Even in Stars, she still has those bad girl vibes. I'm sorry.
She does, but there's something about her aesthetic because the girls, I think, are a little scared of her.
Yeah, she's scary.
And she's such a hell of a striker. She's a next level striker.
Yes.
And she's got a next level badassness to her.
Absolutely.
So let's go.
Okay, let's get into this match. They get in the ring. The start of this match is very technical. Just very back and forth grappling. It's quiet in there. Everyone's holding their breath, waiting for something to happen. They go back and forth for a minute. Then they stand up out of the grappling and they just have this face off for a second. And this is where you see Poi's face, like very serious Poi. But she walks up to Hazuki. They're face to face and Poi just slaps her across the face.
Yeah.
And Hazuki does not take kindly to that. She grabs Poi by her hair and starts flinging her around the ring multiple times, which Natsupoi reciprocated and started throwing Hazuki around by her hair, which led to this spot that had so much focus, and I love it. It was Poi starting off with Hazuki on the ropes doing Hazuki's boot wash.
Right.
And then Hazuki reversing it and doing the boot wash herself. But when she hits the ropes and comes back, Poi moves. She throws her around some more, gets her back on the ropes, more boot washes. Then Hazuki does it again. They go back and forth like 5 times with this boot wash. And it's not until Natsupoi hits her drop kick through the ropes on Hazuki that it ends. And it was just such a defining moment, I think, for this match.
I like that too because the one thing this match did not look was choreographed.
Absolutely not. They were just fighting.
As funny as that is, and as next level as everything was, there was some roughness to this match in spots. That was a good kind of roughness. It was the struggle.
Yeah.
That boot wash was a struggle.
It was. It was like, I'm going to kick you in the face, and then as soon as you give me some space, I'm going to kick you in the face.
Yeah, I'm going to kick you in the face, and I don't want to be kicked in the face.
Yeah. It was like grabbing each other's legs.
No cooperation.
Moving out of the way.
Yeah.
It was...
Whole match.
It was so hardcore the whole time.
Yeah.
Once they're on the outside, and Poi goes for her dive, but Hazuki moves and does her own... Suicida out of the ring onto Poi. They get back in the ring. They're doing forearm shots back and forth. Hazuki starts her beatdown on the back of the head. Then she picks Poi up and headbutts her. Just right there. Just nothing leading up to it. Just headbutts her right in the head. Poi powers up and follows Hazuki to the ropes. Kicks her off like with this 1-foot kick all the way to the top rope so that she's on the outside. Goes for her dive again and hits it this time. It was just the sequences of events in this match, honestly. When they're back in the ring, Natsupoi tried to end the match with her armbar, which Hazuki was in for a minute, but she managed to escape. Poi goes for her first Fey Rail gift. It misses completely. Yeah. She hits the mat. And then they go into this spot where they're just thrust kicking each other back and forth in the face.
Just killing one another.
Just one after the other. And then they're going like they're running to the ropes to come off, but they just keep following each other behind to hit with the forearms behind each other. And Hazuki manages to end that with a suplex, which looked devastating. And then Poi gets back up and back kicks Hazuki in the face.
Yes.
And they're both down on the mat. At this point, I'm like, I can't breathe. There's so much happening.
Yeah, and this, in a normal match, you would feel like this was going into the finish. But
absolutely, there's so much more.
But so elaborate after that.
They finally managed to get up again. Poi goes back to the top. Goes for the Fey Rail gift again, but Hazuki moves her legs out of the way so that Poi hits the mat again. She puts Poi into position, does 2 diving sentons, one from the middle rope and then one from the top rope, and then she turns Poi over into the crossface. And the look on Hazuki's face when she has this submission sunk in just tells the entire story of like, I've been here 5 times before.
Yeah.
I need to win this match. Mm-hmm. She looks so devastated almost and so upset and just worried that she's not going to win this match. So as Poi closes into the rope, she kicks off, flips backwards, and then puts Poi in this like weird crab where she's holding her feet and just wrenching back, just trying anything to get Poi to tap.
Right.
It was so good, that face.
It was amazing.
It was just everything. Hazuki does, or Poi does get out of that. Yeah. And Hazuki hits the Hazuki straw for a near fall. And then they hit some more thrust kicks, go to the top rope. Then Poi hits her release German suplex from the top rope.
Oh, yeah. Insanity.
And Hazuki lands like on her shoulder and like her side.
Oh, it's terrible.
It looked so ugly.
But it also, again, looked like a struggle.
It did.
Like I'm not taking that damn German suplex.
Yeah. And there was this moment after that where Hazuki gets up and she has that smile on her face. That very zombie Mayu type smile.
Yeah.
And Poi is trying so hard. She keeps kicking her and like hitting her with stuff.
Destroying her.
Hazuki just keeps getting up. She even finally hits the Fey Rail gift. And Hazuki kicks out.
Yeah.
After, like, this is the 3rd Fey Rail gift. She finally hits it. Hazuki kicks out. She hits a brain buster. Poi kicks out. And then they're, like, going back and forth with the struggle. And Natsupoi finally, like, she hasn't been able to get it in a while. She hits the fairy ring and then rolls around in that fairy magic.
Yeah.
And pins Hazuki 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm more scared of Hazuki from all that rising from the dead she did. And oh god, it was just Poi, like, I love after this match where it wasn't like an immediate celebration. Poi immediately turns to Hazuki after this because I think she knows how devastating this loss is to Hazuki, because this is number 6.
Right.
6th attempt to win the Wonder of Stardom title for Hazuki in her career, and she lost. And it's clear that she's upset. She's like hiding her face. She's all curled up on the mat. And Poi gets the mic and just is directly talking to Hazuki, telling her, please don't give up. You need to come back and try again. I know it's hard, but I don't want you to give up. I don't want this to be the last time. And Hazuki doesn't answer her. She just leaves.
Yeah.
And the look on Poi's face is so heartbreaking. She's like on the verge of tears. She knows what she's done here, I think. That she's like stolen something from Hazuki that she really, really needed almost.
I'm sorry, I love you all over again.
Oh, God.
But Hazuki leaving spoke volumes.
It did. There's a feeling about her that was like, why? Why didn't I win? What went wrong? What am I doing wrong?
Right. That
I can't win the Wonder of Stardom title. And she didn't give any backstage comments or anything. She was just gone. And it begs the question, what's Hazuki going to do from this point?
Yeah, man, no backstage comments is strange.
It is. And, I mean, that wasn't even the end of the craziness at the end of this match.
No.
That was weird, and we were like, I wonder. But then Tekla came out.
Yep.
who has been kind of floating around Natsupoi recently with her whole handshake thing in that one match, and then wishing her good luck. We know Tekla wants a chance at the Wonder of Stardom title, but here she wasn't here to challenge, really. She came out to the ring, got in, went up to Natsupoi and whispered something in her ear, and then put the hate towel that she was carrying around Natsupoi's neck. And I think it's really interesting the way Poi reacted to whatever Tekla told her, because it wasn't like shock and outrage. It, like, if Tekla was just like, you should join hate, like, you would think Poi would be like upset about it or something.
Right.
It was confusion. Like, she wasn't sure she heard what she thought she heard.
Right.
Like, what did Tekla say to her that made her look like that?
Yeah.
I'm so good. I'm so intrigued.
Yeah, it was
curiosity.
It was very interesting, exactly, and I don't know where that's going.
I don't either.
And I love that.
I'm sure they'll have a match.
Yeah.
But I want to know what she said and like what Tekla's game is here. Maybe Tekla wants to go back to the good side.
I don't think there's any chance of that.
She wore a War Dog shirt out here, so probably not.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance of that whatsoever.
Poi did throw the towel down. She was like, no, I don't want that. And then she went right into the like, I won. I'm not the Poi.
Yeah, she didn't throw the towel down immediately though.
No, but she took it off her shoulders.
She did.
She was like, oh, that was weird.
But it wasn't like she wiped her butt on it or anything.
Yeah, but I mean, do we think Hazuki is going to start going dark side after this, or?
I hope so.
We want black lipstick Hazuki back.
I don't want Poi to change. I want Hazuki to.
The only thing I would dislike about a Hazuki turn is the loss of FWC, unless she somehow convinces Koguma to turn into a dark bear.
It'll be fine.
I know.
It would be interesting to see the matchup.
It would be. It would be cool to see Hazuki versus Koguma, like when Koguma's like, why are you doing this kind of thing.
Right.
I know Hazuki obviously thinks something needs to change because she's not getting anywhere doing what she's doing now.
Yeah.
And this whole Tekla Natsupoi thing has got me like on the edge of my seat. I don't know what's happening.
Maybe it's time for an excursion.
Maybe. Send Hazuki away for a little while.
I won't complain.
Oh, but this match, all in all, 5 stars.
5 stars.
5-star match. The story.
Absolutely 5 stars. Amazing.
And the execution and the struggle and the fighting and so good.
Amazing match. Go out of your way to see this match in its entirety.
You have to see it.
Fantastic. And we have to award the top award of 5 stars to this match again.
Oh, yeah.
Because
it was.
And rarely have we given out the star ratings and had anything that followed something that was...
Like, how do you follow that normally?
That was as good, or if not better.
I think it helps that it's completely different. Like, the main event was different in a very good way. It was a totally different match. Like, there wasn't that same struggle and like almost desperation.
Yeah, this was very competitive, and
it was like a I'm better than you sort of competition.
it was because of the leading up to this, some of the things that were said.
Yes,
and some
Micah calling out Tam like, oh, you're no-win champion, blah blah blah.
So what match are we at?
We're at the main event for the World of Stardom Championship, Micah versus Tam Nakano. And I think it definitely speaks volumes. Like, if you were going to talk about the difference between the white belt and the red belt, these two matches personify what these two belts mean perfectly.
Well said. well said.
You got heart and soul, and you've got top talent, like leader of the company.
And leading up to this match, we've talked about a few little bullet points. Micah's attitude change before the tournament even, but coming into the tournament, she was a different Micah. Mm-hmm. She was amazing. She was smiling. She was having a good time. We were having a great time. She's having classic after classic, and Micah did the thing that nobody has been able to do. Yeah. She went undefeated through the 5-star.
And won. It was great. And she called out Tam here for this match so soon after the 5-star ended.
Tam's 5-star journey was a lot different than that.
Oh, you mean she lost every single match?
Every single match, and her knee injury that she had, she's been focused on other things.
Yes, and Natsukatora tormenting her the whole time and calling her out for this championship match, certain that she's going to win because Tam's all broken down. but Tam proved otherwise.
Tam won, and then Micah, instead of waiting to get her cash in.
Yes, she called it out for 2 weeks.
Yeah, which was smart.
After the end of the 5-star.
To face the person that, and Micah said she was a nothing happening or whatever. You know.
She's like, win champ. Blah, blah, blah. She's talking her crap.
Just talking her smack.
Because she won all her matches.
So this sets us up for what seems like should be pretty damn easy road for Micah.
It does. It seems like it, but we know how Tam is when Tam's on top.
Big match.
She's not going to go down easy. So this match started very seriously. These two were locked in from the bell. They went like forehead to forehead as soon as the opening spot was over. They were just in it. They go back and forth a couple times, and then they're on the ground, and Tam does her cutesy thing with her chin on her hands, and Micah does her new like chill laying on her side thing.
That's Micah in the hotel room she spent all the money on.
Yeah.
Laying there looking at you when you wake up.
Absolutely.
She's been staring at you for a couple hours.
I thought it was funny that Tam didn't do like her smiley cutesy face. She was like still serious, but she was in the pose.
She was
like,
kind of looking at her.
Daring Micah.
To me, that was, I just did that.
Yeah, it's like, are you going to talk? Are you going to talk crap right now?
Yeah.
Because I'm doing this pose.
You're forgetting who I am.
Oh, man, it's so good. They get up from this, start into a series of blocking each other's moves back and forth until Micah comes off with a massive shoulder tackle and takes Tam down to give her the lead in the match. It wasn't
even blocking as much as hitting one another with the same move.
They were like very even.
Yeah, it was very even.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
Micah hits the shoulder tackle, then she starts doing these body slams to like show off her power. She does this cocky cover over top of Tam that I think was kind of like, I'm the big boy here.
Right.
It was, of course, Tam kicked out of that. And then Micah finds herself on the outside, and Tam hits her beautiful dive on Micah. They're on the outside, and a few blocked suplexes lead to them just throwing forearms at each other, back and forth, back and forth. And then Tam calls for the crowd to move out of the way so that she can throw Micah into the chairs. And they do a little like spin-a-roo. You don't know who's going to go into the chairs.
Oh, yeah.
And then
so
eventually
crazy.
Micah takes the first chair shot. But as soon as she hits, she gets up and just storms back at Tam. They're throwing forearms again. They go to the other side. They spin around. Tam goes into the chair. She gets up, storms back at Micah. They're throwing forearms again. They stop, both point at the ring, roll back in.
Love that moment.
It was so good.
That was one of your squeals.
Oh, the entire that entire spot with the chairs and just like them being defiant with each other and just hitting each other with forearms over and over. I loved it so much. But this is where things changed a little bit, because when they're back in the ring, Tam comes running at Micah, who backdrops her over the ropes, and her knees take the bump on the apron.
Yeah.
And this was kind of a scary moment because Tam was like yelling and crying about her left knee.
And the girls came over, and obviously Daichi comes down and
he stopped Micah from
hollered
diving
for the doctor, who never came.
No. The doctor was like, I don't know. But I guess Tam assured Daichi that she was all right because he allowed the match to continue.
One of my favorite parts of the match was right here because Micah comes out. And when Micah is coming near Tam, she said something we can't hear. We can only assume.
Right.
You okay?
Yeah.
And Tam gives the nod, like a real quick nod that if you're thinking about it consciously, you might not give during a match.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things you just do. Like a lot of times you'll see two people take a big bump and you see, if you know what you're looking at,
you see a little nod.
You see a little,
cool.
you see a little nod. I love that because they're beating the shit out of one another.
Oh yeah.
But they agree. You know what? We're going to do this. I'm better than you.
Yeah. And this ties in perfectly.
But I don't want to kill you.
Right.
It's not the end of your career I'm looking for. I just want to beat your ass and take this belt.
Right. It's a good competition here that we're having. We don't want to actually injure each other.
Yeah, I love that.
But this ties in perfectly with Tam's knee injury that she's been dealing with because, she legitimately injured this knee, and then Natsuko Katora did a number of it for the past month.
Oh, yeah.
So her hitting the apron like that and then grabbing that left knee immediately, you're just like, oh, crap. What's happening? But they do get back to it. Micah comes directly at her, but Tam gets out of the way, hits her with a violet shooting on the outside. and then goes up the ramp for this cool moment where she's about to run down and hit Micah with the knees, but her leg gives out. So she falls at the top of the ramp, and she has to get back up and do this sort of hobbling run back down the ramp. And as soon as she gets down there, Micah just grabs her and power slams her on the ramp.
Damn it.
Because she took too long.
Yeah, the power slam, though.
Her power slam's vicious. They get back in the ring, and oh god, I loved every moment in this match. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
They're sitting cross-legged in the middle of the ring, throwing feet at each other's faces, just kicking back and forth. I'm pretty sure this gave Tam a bloody mouth. Like, I'm sure. I think this busted Tam.
And I think this is where Micah got the boot print across her face.
Yeah. Micah manages to get the better of this exchange, but as they get up, Tam is able to get her in the ropes and hit her running knee through the ropes, which was absolutely gorgeous. And then she hit Micah with a high angle backdrop and puts her in a triangle choke. And Micah was in this for a good amount of time, like struggling to get out. It was a nice little slowdown from all that craziness that just happened. Tam, she seems like she has Micah right where she wants her. But then as she's coming off the ropes, Micah grabs her and just lifts her into a power bomb. Like out of nowhere, and slams her down so that she can get the the win again. They go up to the top. Micah hits her superplex from the top, followed by those 3 vicious vertical suplexes that she started doing during the 5-star. Then Tam, she follows that up by following Micah to the top rope, which results in an avalanche.
Oh my god!
Michinoku driver 2. From the top rope.
Brutal.
Micah just slamming Tam through the ring with this Michinoku driver. Then she does another one, but that only results in a near fall.
Which was insanity.
Absolutely insanity. Micah grabs the hammerlock, and Tam reverses that into a violet screwdriver for a near fall. They start trading shots. They're just going at it. Tam hits another violet screwdriver, kick out at 1.
Your favorite thing.
Micah hits a discus lariat, kick out at 1. They're just screaming at each other. Tam hits these massive kicks on Micah that get her down on her knees, but the last kick she hits perfectly sits Micah back for the violet shooting knee that she throws in the next moment. So she's like setting her up for a move using these kicks.
Oh, yeah.
Which was so cool. So she hits that near fall. She knows she needs something. She needs to pull something out here that she doesn't use very often. So she hits Micah with the Twilight Dream for the 1, 2, 3 to retain the World of Stardom Championship. I lost my entire mind during this match, I think.
This match.
Good Lord.
I mean, this match, if you like violence.
It was very violent.
if you like just struggle, not know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Fuck.
This was some high level wrestling right here.
Yeah, this was a continuation of Micah's run.
Yes.
Of just amazing matches.
Yes.
And Tam at top form.
Absolutely. I love seeing Tam in big matches. Oh, she's so good.
I love seeing Tam at top form. I love seeing what she can do in that ring, and good God, man.
And I love after the match when they're both laying there, that cute little moment they had where they're just talking to you can see the smile on Micah's face. She kind of nudges Tam's head with her elbow, and they're just having this sweet little moment as everything's calming down after the match.
I love it too. Mike is obviously upset, but not upset like, last year.
Oh yeah, she's in a great mood.
Yeah.
And even in her backstage comments, she talks about how she missed the feeling of defeat because she's won all these matches recently. She even won those tag matches over Tam. Like, she hasn't lost in a while, at least a month. So she was like, that felt good. I think it was nice. But she warned Tam. She said, as soon as you start whining or bring shame to the red belt, I'm coming to get it from you. So be good.
I love that.
She's like, you can have it for now, but if you mess it up.
Yeah.
And Tam thanked Micah in the ring for leading Stardom while she was gone. She said she was good at it, but now it's Tam time. Tam Road is chugging ahead, man.
Buddy, it is Tam time.
And then, after Micah left, Tam challenged her next opponent for the red belt.
That shitty girl is the way she said
it. Yes. Miss Suzu Suzuki, who was on commentary, she called her into the ring, apologized for making her wait a year to have the match they were originally supposed to have because Suzu won last year's 5-star Grand Prix right before Tam got injured and dropped the red belt. And Suzu did have a red belt match after that against Micah, which she lost. But it's kind of cool to come back around and have, like, she challenged Tam face to face following that win. So we're finally going to have that match.
When that happened, Suzu lost all momentum.
Yes. Yeah, she completely just went downhill.
It's so weird in wrestling because you could be the crowd favorite, you can be looking your best, and one thing can happen.
Yeah.
And you lose all momentum with the fans, with everything. Because as soon as that happened, everybody turned on her.
Yeah, they're like, oh, Suzu didn't deserve to be the title. Or like, it was like when she was going in to face Micah, everyone was suddenly like, oh, Micah's definitely, when they were already, like, they were championing Suzu before.
Yeah, that kind of stuff always bothers us.
Yeah.
Because we're not like that. But
I love Suzu Suzuki.
I felt so bad for her because she was such a great story.
Oh, yeah. It was a total underdog story for her.
So this feels like the right time.
It does.
Because Suzu's loose. She showed that she was loose.
Yeah.
And I think it can only make her even better and top
big match
form.
with Tam.
Yeah, because she's going to have to work her butt off.
That's an insane opportunity.
Yeah.
On the top of the card, no less.
Yeah.
But they did a little callback here where Tam told her she was going to rip all her fake eyelashes off, and Suzu took her lash off and threw it at Tam because they had a match in Cork and Hall a couple months ago where one of Tam's false lashes came off and Suzu stuck it to her own forehead.
We couldn't figure out what was wrong with it.
It was so funny. And so Tam stuck Suzu's lash to the belt. And she was like,
yes.
Yeah, okay, let's do this. And I'm very looking forward to that match.
Oh, yeah, dude.
But this main event was a 5-star match.
It was a different 5 stars, but
these two matches just exemplify the amazing wrestling of Stardom and the championship belt matches that they have.
So I'll tell you this much, little inside baseball. This match was such a good match that if we didn't have integrity on our star count,
you would go above.
I would have went above.
I feel like I probably would have too.
Not much.
If we could go above 5 stars, we probably would have.
That's how good it is.
It was so good. We watched it twice.
Yeah, we watched.
And it was just as good the second time.
We watched the last half of the card twice.
Yes, we did.
We're ridiculous.
It was so good.
Yes, it was fantastic.
Oh, God, those last 2 if you haven't seen, when this comes out on Stardom World, like if you don't want to pay for the pay-per-view, you need to at least watch the last 3 matches.
And listen, if you just listen to us and you've never had Stardom World,
it's worth it.
Wait for this to come out and let this be the first thing you do.
Yeah, go watch these 2.
Just watch the last 2 matches.
Yeah.
That's all we want.
They're so good.
You'll pay for Stardom World even if you don't have a computer after that for the rest of your life.
They deserve it, honestly.
You just want to give them money.
And they've gotten so good this year about live streaming and like the quality of everything has been incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm not like, I'm kind of sad that we don't have the translation on things anymore, but hey, I'll trade it. It's fine.
It doesn't bother me.
We can find what they said somewhere.
Yeah. It's fine. I get to watch their faces more, honestly.
Yeah. You can kind of tell what they're saying without knowing.
Because I'm not reading Jesus. We've watched so much Japanese. I know half of what they're saying.
Yeah, we can kind of tell. It's fine.
It's so funny.
I know a few Japanese words
and
myself.
Japanese language is so based on emotion.
Yeah.
That you could tell what someone's saying a lot of times by the way of their inflection.
Yeah. So yeah, they put a lot of emotion in there.
Oh yeah.
So that was Stardom Namba Grand Fight. Goodness gracious. And our next pay-per-view is not till October 5th, which, good Lord.
I knew this pay-per-view was going to be good.
Yeah.
And it was, honest to God, a kind of a 2-match show.
It was. The first half
I don't want to say
could have been on a normal Stardom show.
I can't say this is the best pay-per-view I've ever seen because of Stardom. Even in the last 2 months.
I think Conversion might still have the top. But
what it was 2 of the best matches I've seen.
Match of the year candidates.
Yeah, dude. It back to back like that.
Good Lord.
And so much story is happening right now.
It is.
That people who have patience are being rewarded.
Yeah.
Because it's story that has been brewing for a long ass time.
Yeah. I mean, everything was so up in the air at the beginning of the year, and we had to get through all of that. And we've gotten to a point now where the people who have stuck around and have really championed Stardom and like been the leaders of it, like Micah and Tam, are getting their flowers and spades.
Funny how that works.
They deserve it.
But, I think that looking back on that now, it's been long enough. They're different.
It's completely different.
Different entities altogether.
Yeah, it's changed entirely.
I can watch Marigold and enjoy it for being Marigold.
Yeah.
And it's not a competition.
No. There's no comparing. There's no need to.
There's just a whole different world.
Yeah.
So
following that, we have a couple of shows in the middle of the week. This week on the 18th and 19th in Armory. And then next weekend, there are 3 shows on the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Leading into, there's another Cork and Hall at the end of the month and a New Blood before the 10-5 pay-per-view. But those are the next couple of shows. There's no cards or anything for them yet. But I can only imagine what's going to be happening. So that'll be fun.
A lot of story will happen.
Of course, we will be around to talk about that stuff as it happens.
We will, and we'll be coming to you with some Marigold stuff. And
yes, we're going to be reviewing more of the Marigold Dreamstar Grand Prix and talking about AEW, hopefully, and things like that. All the women's wrestling that we love.
Oh, yeah.
And love to share with you guys. And we hope that you've enjoyed this episode where we've reviewed this pay-per-view because it was so much fun to watch and review, and I just enjoyed myself thoroughly. Make sure you're following us at Wrestling Is Her on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, because we're always out here posting, especially on X. We're just constantly tweeting things about wrestling. Look forward to us giving you more information about when we start reviewing some vintage Joshi.
And look, we are working our asses off on that.
Yes. There's just so much.
You have no idea. We are literally going through late 70s, early 80s. Yep. I think
we're doing it.
I think we've sort of landed there rather than starting with the 90s.
Yeah, we had to kind of figure our way out of where we wanted to go and where we wanted to start.
I think people need to know more. And we got some big
it's been exciting
shows coming
about.
up. So
yes, so look forward to that, and look forward to our next episode right here on Wrestling Is Her. I'm Raja, he's John, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.